Now, from the Lowcountry's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
A new report tonight finds South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster was targeted by the same group accused of plotting to kidnap another governor. The Detroit News is reporting affidavits show the Delaware man accused of wanting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer also made a post threatening to kill our governor. Affidavits say Barry Croft made a Facebook post mulling the killing of McMaster. The Detroit News reports evidence collected by the FBI shows the post also included images of a noose and a list of grievances towards Democrats, Republicans, Muslims, and liberals. The paper also says McMaster's office declined to comment because of security matters. Also developing this evening, Georgetown police in the county's corner on the scene of a shooting in the city. Police say it happened on Gilbert Street. They are investigating, and the coroner, we're told, has arrived on the scene. We'll bring you updates on the air and online as soon as we get them. On to Hurricane Zeta, the storm weakening and moving away from the Gulf Coast this hour after claiming the life of at least one person in New Orleans. Nearly 450,000 people across Louisiana are without power tonight. That storm ripped roofs off and tore down utility poles. And right now, it is getting ready to cross into Alabama. Bill Walsh is joining us now. The remnants of this storm headed for parts of the Carolinas.
Yeah, it'll go right through the upstate of South Carolina into the early morning hours. Actually, it's racing at about 25, 26 miles an hour. A lot of damage already from this as it moved on into southern Louisiana. This storm, the strongest ever for this time of the year, moving across the Gulf. You can see that satellite imagery, again, pushing off to the north and east rather rapidly. The center right about there near the Alabama-Mississippi border. As we take a look at the numbers, 80-mile-an-hour storm right now. Pressure's up a little bit to 979. Still a Cat 1 hurricane, even this far inland. Forecast track does take it across Alabama, northern Georgia, even just kind of skirting the upstate of South Carolina. That's by tomorrow morning. That's by tomorrow afternoon. It's racing away. It'll continue to do so. We even have tropical storm warnings in effect for Greenville, Spartanburg, the upstate of South Carolina, all the way back to Atlanta, even all the way on up into Virginia. Believe it or not, tropical storm warnings. But that will pull away rather quickly. As far as impacts here, we're going to talk about maybe some showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Very low-end tornado threat. We'll keep an eye on it and monitor that. And certainly we will have some gusty winds tomorrow afternoon, around 15 to 25-mile-an-hour winds. Again, pretty gusty through the afternoon. So when we come back in a few more minutes, we'll talk more about that, plus a huge change for your upcoming weekend. So don't go to bed just yet.
Great, Bill, and thank you. And the latest on Zeta and its impact on the Southeast, to get that, you can download our Live 5 weather app. That app is free, and you'll find it in your phone's app store. Members of the community asking for more accountability from the Charleston Police Department. Tonight, during a public safety committee meeting, city leaders heard comments about the reports from the riots back in May. Paola Tristan Arruda listened in, and Paola, some people say that report doesn't tell the full story.
Ross, some who offered comments say police action during the riot was violent and disorganized, but the 64-page report was only preliminary data showing the issues the department had and what they learned from the riot.
Peaceful protests, riots, damaged businesses, and shattered glass. A lot happened the night of May 30th and the 31st. Months later, the Charleston Police Department has put together a report detailing their response that weekend, and now the community is responding.
I was one of several dozen people that was arrested on May 31st, and what I can only describe as one of the most violent, disorganized, and clearly retaliatory police actions I've ever experienced.
14 people signed up to speak at the Public Safety Committee meeting to give their thoughts. Some were there on the 31st, who said they have concerns about the report.
One is that it had numerous factual inaccuracies and omissions. Number two, it used inflammatory and passive language in a way that was inappropriate. Number three, it assumed a massive amount of police control over the community that shouldn't exist. And four, that the department violated their own department policies in numerous areas, none of which was discussed in the report itself.
But others said they were thankful for the police response.
It could have erupted into death and more destruction, and I just want to offer my support to our police chief and to our police department as they move forward.
Some people are asking for a better assessment of what happened that weekend to be included in the report. City leaders say that's the plan.
The comments today and will help us grow stronger, learn, improve, and take ownership of areas and give the community what they deserve, what they expect, and certainly what they need from us.
For 30 days, the city will be accepting comments about the report. The email for that, along with the full report, is on our website, live5news.com. In downtown Charleston, I'm Paola Tresnaruda, Live 5 News.
College of Charleston says it's renaming its top scholar awards in an effort to be more diverse and inclusive. President Hsu says the use of William Aiken's name in the honors college will be taken away due to his past. Aiken was a former state governor who owned slaves. Those awards will now be referred to as the Charleston Fellows. The college will also no longer use the name of the college's first president, Bishop Robert Smith. Hsu also says Smith directed the use of slaves to perform labor on the College of Charleston's campus. South Carolina education leaders are launching a new program to help students navigate learning challenges of COVID-19. Engage South Carolina is the program. It will help kids who are disengaged from their education because of coronavirus. Those students will be paired with a personal academic coach. They will develop plans for academic success and measure that student's progress throughout the school year. State officials say public schools can opt in at no cost to them or their families. A study is showing more than half of kindergarten students here in South Carolina are actually not ready when they start their first day of school. This information is from state education officials prompting groups to make a change. They want parents to be more involved in early childhood education, and they want them to do more at home. The Carolina Family Engagement Center at the University of South Carolina is sharing new resources for the parents. There are 6 new booklets to help caretakers teach things like numbers, emotional development, and problem solving. The guides are available to download online. Just head to our Live 5 News website and look for this story on the homepage. The State Health Department is rolling out a new effort to better understand the immunity of COVID-19 and how it spreads. Next time you check your mail, you may see one of these blue envelopes. It's part of the SC Strong initiative. More than 32,000 people will be getting one in the mailbox. If you get one, don't throw it out. Here's what you need to know. You'll need to take a survey online or call the number that's on the letter. Participants will also need to go to a state-approved location to get tested for COVID-19.
The city granted $1.1 million for COVID relief. I'm Nick Reagan, live in downtown Charleston. I'll tell you what that money could be used for coming up.
An autopsy set for tomorrow morning after crews pull the body of a missing man from the Black River. The Georgetown County Coroner's Office says Michael Heckler's body was found this morning. Deputies there had reported him missing on Sunday. The car of a family member was pulled from the river a day later. Deputies believe that car was involved in an accident at the P House boat landing. A judge has denied parole for the man who killed 2 teenage girls on Folly Beach more than 45 years ago. Richard Valenti appealed for the 21st time and was denied. He's behind bars for the 1973 killings of 14-year-old Sherry Clark and 13-year-old Alexis Latimer on Folly Beach. Police say Valenti kidnapped the girls and then killed them. Their bodies weren't found until 10 months later. He is serving 2 life terms in prison. The only cafe of its kind in the state by the owner of One North Charleston Spot says come as you are and pay what you can. The city of Charleston now has access to more than $1 million of federal funding for COVID relief. Nick Reagan is taking a look at what the city wants to do with that money. And Nick, it's intended to help people keep their homes.
Part of that grant is going towards directly helping people pay those bills like rent, but the vast majority is slated to help the city purchase property to address affordable housing. Now, I asked the Housing and Community Development Director how a new development that could take years to finish helps with COVID relief right now.
We want to be able to provide a long-term and sustained strategy with the funding that we receive, and we're hoping that this is that pot of funding that will enable us to do that.
Gianna Shaw Johnson is proposing using $900,000 of a $1.1 million COVID relief grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on purchasing property for the city to build affordable transitional housing.
The thought is not to build halfway houses, but to literally build individual apartments in a multi-family style building. The pandemic has taught us a number of things, and one of the things that we always want to be cognizant of is that persons need their own individual spaces.
The rest of the grant, about $245,000, will go towards helping people pay rent, mortgages, or bills. And there's plenty of need out there. SC Thrive is a statewide nonprofit that just finished their rental assistance program.
We had a huge flood right at the open of the program, and basically we did see kind of an increase basically at the beginning of the month, each month that the program was open.
SC Thrive's program was funded through a different but similar mechanism through SC Housing. The program ended this month, but Walsh says the coronavirus is still threatening to force people out of their homes.
At the conclusion of our program, we were still receiving emails and phone calls from people who expected to fall behind come November.
Johnson says that the grant is split this way to address both short-term and long-term housing needs. She also says that they have 3 years to spend all of that grant money. Reporting in Charleston, Nick Reagan, Live 5 News.
South Carolina's ports leaders say they're expecting to create more jobs in our state. The State Ports Authority gave the annual State of the Port address today. The company's CEO says Charleston is the preferred container port in the entire country. There are 2 big projects on the way, the deepening of Charleston Harbor and the opening of the Hugh Leatherman Terminal. The State Ports Authority is tied to 1 in every 10 jobs in South Carolina. However, the future for Boeing isn't so promising. Today, company officials say they could cut 30,000 jobs by the end of the year. Just a few months ago, officials expected the number to only be 19,000. It comes as the aerospace company says it only made $14 million in revenue this quarter. That's a 29% drop from this time last year. Boeing leaders say it's due to a decrease in plane deliveries and services amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Right now, it's unclear where those jobs will be cut or how the North Charleston plant is going to be impacted.
Now, your first alert forecast from Live 5 News.
Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh here on a Wednesday night. Thanks so much for staying with us up so late. If you stand on your tippy toes, you know what you see. The weekend not far away. Let's start though with the next big thing. What is that? Well, I hope you have a sweater. I hope you like cool weather, because the next big thing, it is definitely a big cool down coming late tomorrow night in the form of a cold front that's going to push through into early Friday morning and be well to the south and east as we head into Halloween weekend. I'm calling it the Halloween chill. Cooler temperatures Friday and definitely much cooler by Saturday, and another shot of cool air. Get this, the beginning of next week. It's going to be cool on election morning. How about that? All right, don't forget to join us in the morning, 4:30 a.m. Stephanie will be here, of course, with our iHeartRadio partners like 103.5 WEZL. Raphael?
With most businesses, pricing is determined by supply and demand, but a restaurant in North Charleston operates under a different set of principles. A meal at Destiny Community Cafe is priced according to what you can afford to pay.
Destiny Community Cafe, we're the only pay what you can cafe in the state of South Carolina where people can come in and they can pay whatever they can afford for their meal, or they can volunteer in exchange for their meal. But no one leaves hungry. One day we had a lady that came in, she was tearing, crying and hugging the hostess that we had here that day because she had just found out about us. She was job hunting in the area, and her stomach was, she said it was making noise. It was growling hungry so badly that when she saw that there was a place she can eat with and she didn't have any money, she came straight here and was just thanking us and crying.
Well, how do you make any money? If everybody is paying what they can and some people can't afford to pay, how do you make any profits?
Well, we depend on folks to pay it forward. So if people pay it forward, then it works out. And it's been 5 years, people do what they can, so we're not millionaires, we're not in it to be a millionaire, but we're sustaining. You know, we still need to keep the lights on. We still need to, you know, buy food still, even though we get what we can. We're thankful for the farmers because they do give us whatever they have surplus, or we rescue a lot of the vegetables. And the garden is out there for the community, so we love when people come in and ask, you know, can they get some of the ginger or some of whatever's growing, and we go out there and we show them how to chop it off. And then also it's educational. We're doing classes coming up for adults and children so they can learn how to grow as well. So a lot of people live in apartments, but we can show them how to start off a little something at home so you can grow your food.
More information about Destiny Community Cafe or to donate, go to live5news.com and click on the big red box.